You thought they got away with it, didn't you? The way they turned their backs on you, the way they whispered your name like it was poison, the way they tried to erase you while smiling to your face. But what they didn't realize was that touching a chosen one comes at a price no human can afford. This wasn't just about you. This wasn't just betrayal. It was provocation, and not against flesh and blood, but against something sacred, something marked, something sent. Because when they come for a chosen one, they're not fighting a person. They're stepping into a battlefield they can't see. They're awakening forces they'll never understand. They're challenging the hand of God himself. And here's what nobody told them. God always, always answers. So stay right here, because in the next few minutes, you're going to understand exactly what happens when someone dares to attack the anointed. What happens when a silent battle reaches heaven's court, and how God not only responds, but restores everything. Now, before we go deeper, if you've ever felt betrayed, silenced, underestimated, if you know deep down you were chosen for something bigger, then this message is for you. Hit the like button so this word reaches more warriors. Subscribe if you haven't already, because what's coming is not just content, it's divine strategy. And drop 99 in the comments if you're ready to receive full restoration. Why 99? Because heaven leaves the 99 to rescue one. And today, that one might be you. They didn't just attack you, they provoked God. They thought they were simply mocking a person. They thought you were just another name, just another soul too quiet to fight back, too kind to retaliate. They believed your silence was weakness, that your calmness was surrender, that your refusal to strike back was proof they had won. But they missed the truth completely. Because they weren't just throwing stones at you, they were shaking the throne of the one who chose you. See, the world measures worth by noise, but heaven measures worth by calling. And your calling was never loud. It was divine, wrapped in silence, hidden in humility, protected in stillness. That's why they didn't see it. They couldn't sense the fire around you, the angels assigned to you, the oil dripping over your name in the spirit. They thought they were humiliating someone small, when in truth they were striking a living altar. What if I told you that every insult they threw was not just an attack, but a declaration of war against God's timeline? What if every lie they spread was recorded in heaven, not as gossip, but as evidence? Because they didn't just gossip about a person. They interfered with a prophecy. They tried to rewrite something that was already sealed in the divine scrolls. And now, that interference has a consequence. You see, when someone messes with a chosen one, they trigger a response. And it's not a petty comeback. It's not revenge. It's divine order correcting itself. Because heaven doesn't ignore interference with sacred vessels. So no, they weren't just hurting you. They were trying to delay something holy. And in doing so, they crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. And now, things are shifting, not just in your life, but in theirs. Because what looked like a harmless attack in the natural was a provocation in the spiritual, a cosmic miscalculation, an act of ignorance with eternal weight. And here's the part that will keep you up at night. What if every time they tried to break you, they were actually digging their own grave? Not because you cursed them, but because they cursed what God was building. So don't be surprised when things start collapsing around them. Don't be confused when the very ones who stood above you begin to fall, one by one. You were never the target. You were the test, and they failed. But stay with me, because in the next moment, I'll reveal how this battle turns into restoration, not just in your favor, but right in front of their eyes. And when you see how God flips the story, you'll never look at your pain the same way again. There are moments so quiet, so lonely, that not even your closest friend could see the weight you were carrying. Moments where the betrayal didn't come with a scream, but with silence, with distance, with absence. And while the world moved on, you were left sitting in invisible pain, the kind that doesn't bruise the skin but scars the soul. But just because it was invisible to others doesn't mean it was unseen, because nothing, absolutely nothing, is hidden from the eyes of the Almighty. He saw everything. Every silent tear you wiped before anyone noticed. Every sleepless night spent questioning your worth. Every moment you bit your tongue instead of defending yourself. Every time you walked into a room and felt the shift in energy, the fake smiles, the subtle exclusion, He saw it all. And while you were wondering if you were crazy, wondering if it was all in your head, heaven was documenting every detail. Because heaven keeps receipts, not the kind printed on paper, but the kind that echo through realms. Spiritual receipts, proof of pain, proof of injustice, proof that a chosen one was wrongly handled, dishonored, discarded, and for every hidden moment they thought would never catch up with them. God wrote a response. You need to understand something deep here. God is not slow. He's strategic. He's not absent. He's building evidence. Because what they did wasn't just wrong. It was illegal in the spirit. And illegal actions demand a divine verdict. You see, when a chosen one is mistreated, heaven doesn't react emotionally. It moves judicially. God doesn't scream back at your enemies. He prepares a case. And when that case is ready, it becomes undeniable. So if you ever thought your suffering was wasted, think again. If you believed the lies would never be corrected, look again. He saw the manipulation they covered in kindness. He saw the sabotage they masked as concern. He saw how they twisted your light into something threatening just because it made them uncomfortable. And now, the case is closed. The judgment is near, and restoration has already been approved. Because God does not forget. There's a courtroom in heaven with your name on the docket, and it's not a trial anymore. It's a sentencing. For every secret attack, there is a divine response being prepared, not out of vengeance, but out of justice, out of order, out of the promise that what is done in secret will be answered in power. And just when they think they've escaped accountability, they'll realize something terrifying. God never misses anything. He just waits until everyone is watching. But don't move, because what comes next isn't just a response. It's the divine reversal. And when you see how He flips what was meant to destroy you, you'll understand why He took His time. They thought it was over. They thought they had the final word. They thought burying you in silence, in shame, in betrayal, would be the end of your story. But what they didn't understand is that seeds don't die when buried. They multiply. You were not buried to disappear. You were buried to be reborn. What they mistook for your end was actually God planting you in deeper soil, where no eye could see, where no hand could interfere, where only heaven could nurture what was next. Because when a chosen one falls, it's never failure. It's recalibration. You weren't losing your way. You were gaining depth. And that depth was necessary for the kind of reversal God is about to unleash in your life. Let's make something clear. This is not just about vindication. This is not just God proving a point. This is about alignment, a holy realignment of everything they tried to twist. The same ones who whispered that you were finished will now speak of how you rose, not slowly, not quietly, but suddenly, with a force that no man can fabricate. Because this time, it won't be your hand moving things. It will be His. They tried to bury your voice, but your voice will now carry farther. They tried to stain your name, but your name is about to be spoken in rooms you haven't even entered yet. They tried to close doors, but God is about to build new ones, where your footsteps will echo with glory. This is the divine reversal, the sacred flip, the unexplainable shift, where what was meant to crush you becomes the exact thing that elevates you. And here's the truth you've been waiting to hear. What they took, God is not just giving back. He's returning it with interest, with overflow, with power. What they broke, He is not just fixing. He is rebuilding it from the ashes, so that no crack remains, no scar remains, no evidence of the pain they caused can remain. But don't expect it to look like it did before, because what's coming isn't a restoration to your past. It's a revelation of your destiny, bigger, better, brighter, unrecognizable to those who only knew you in your season of silence, uncomfortable to those who only accepted you when you were small. And the most poetic part of it all, God will let them see it. He will not hide you this time. He will not whisper your comeback. He will announce it, loud, bold, undeniable. Because this time, your elevation isn't about ego. It's about evidence. Evidence that God never abandons his own. Evidence that the chosen cannot be erased. Evidence that when heaven reverses the story, it does it in front of everyone who thought it was over. But don't blink now. Because the next part is when the price of touching a chosen one starts to show up in their lives. And the cost is heavier than they ever imagined. There is a sacred law in the spirit realm, one that is older than time, written before the foundations of the earth were laid. Do not touch the anointed. It's not a suggestion. It's not a metaphor. It's a warning. One they ignored, one they laughed at, one they're now paying the price for. Because when you interfere with a chosen one, you don't just disrupt a person's path, you tamper with destiny. You put your hands on something that doesn't belong to you. You try to sabotage what heaven handcrafted. And heaven does not take that lightly. You see, there is a cost for touching the anointed. A cost they never calculated. They thought hurting you would be free. They thought walking away, betraying you, mocking your purpose, would never echo back. But the echoes are coming now, loud, unavoidable, and relentless. Look closely and you'll start to notice it. Doors that once opened easily for them, now sealed shut. Opportunities slipping through their fingers like sand. Peace, gone. Rest, replaced by anxiety. Favor, reversed. Not because you cursed them, not because you retaliated, but because God marked you. And when someone touches what he has sealed, they trigger a reaction from heaven itself. It's not karma. It's not coincidence. It's covenant. They thought they were fighting a person, but the truth is terrifying. They were standing in the way of divine timing, of prophecy, of sacred alignment. And now, they're feeling the consequence. They're trying to figure out why everything's falling apart, why their connections are drying up, why peace seems to vanish no matter how much they achieve. They can't explain it. But you can, because it started the moment they messed with something that wasn't theirs to handle. You. And here's the revelation most people miss. The world may not fear a chosen one, but the spiritual realm does. Demons recognize you. Principalities monitor you. Angels surround you. Why? Because when God calls someone, he equips them, protects them, and defends them. That's why things are shifting. That's why the very ones who thought they had the upper hand are now scrambling to hold on to what they used to control. Their peace is gone because they destroyed yours. Their access is blocked because they tried to block yours. Their name is being questioned because they tried to ruin yours. You don't have to lift a finger. Because when you're chosen, God becomes your witness, your judge, your defense, and your avenger. But here's the part that cuts deep. The same mouths that spoke against you will be the ones calling your name again. Not to attack this time, but to ask for mercy. Because once someone experiences the cost of touching a chosen one, they'll never make that mistake again. But stay with me. Because what happens next is not just a warning to them, it's a revelation for you. Because God is not done yet. He's about to restore everything they tried to steal, but in a way that only He can. There's a certain kind of restoration that doesn't happen in silence. Not behind closed doors, not in the shadows, but right in the middle of the battlefield, in front of the very ones who tried to take you out. Because when God restores a chosen one, He doesn't do it in hiding. He does it publicly, loudly, undeniably. not to humiliate your enemies, but to reveal your identity. Because this was never about revenge. This is about justice, about alignment, about heaven making a statement the world can't ignore. They thought they knew you. They thought they could define you by your lowest moment, your heartbreak, your setback, your silence. But what they didn't realize was that the silence was sacred. The setback was strategic, and the heartbreak was the beginning of heaven's announcement. You see, God allowed them to walk away. He let them misjudge you. He let them speak. Why? Because he was setting the stage, so that when he raised you up again, they would be there to watch. Not just to observe, but to witness. Witness your healing. Witness your favor. Witness your name being restored with honor, your voice being amplified, your purpose rising from the ashes with divine power. This is the kind of restoration that makes people uncomfortable, because it forces them to confront the truth they denied. It shatters the version of you they invented and exposes the one God always saw. And here's the holy twist. You won't have to explain yourself. You won't need to defend your journey. You won't even have to address the past. Your restoration will speak louder than any rumor ever could. Because when God lifts someone, he lifts them in such a way that the world is left in awe and the critics are left in silence. Don't misunderstand. This isn't a comeback story. This is a reveal. A revelation of who you were the entire time. Not someone broken, not someone forgotten, but someone hidden on purpose for a moment such as this. And now, he's pulling back the curtain. This is not just restoration. This is prophecy fulfilled. This is vindication without bitterness, elevation without arrogance, glory without explanation. Because when God restores, he doesn't give you back what was stolen. He gives you double, and he gives it in such a way that those who doubted you can't deny you. Let that sink in. The very ones who called you crazy will call you chosen. The ones who said you'd never make it will be the first to say, I always knew. But God knows, and you know. And that's enough. Because what's coming isn't to make you feel big. It's to make heaven known. It's to show the world what happens when a chosen one survives the storm, trusts through the silence, and refuses to let the fire consume their identity. And now, you're about to rise, in full view. But don't look away yet, because what's about to be released in the final moments of this message will leave you standing in awe of the God who restores not just what you lost, but the part of you you never even knew was missing. Everything you lost is already on its way back. But this time, it's not coming the way it left. It's coming with fire. It's coming with weight. It's coming with glory. Because when God restores a chosen one, he doesn't whisper it. He announces it. He doesn't patch things up. He makes all things new. And he doesn't restore halfway. He restores fully, publicly, and permanently. This is not about going back to who you were. That version of you no longer exists. You've been reshaped, refined, revealed. And now, you walk with oil that no man can steal. You carry a weight that hell can't handle. You are the living proof that heaven answers. That silence isn't defeat, it's preparation. That loss isn't the end, it's the setup for multiplication. Let this burn into your soul. They thought they were ending you, but they were building the platform for your comeback. They thought your silence meant surrender, but it was the stillness before the sound of destiny. They thought they had broken you, but they only broke the version of you that wasn't meant to survive the next season. Because now, you're not just restored, you're resurrected. And everything they thought they buried is about to rise from the ground with power, purpose, and public evidence that you were never abandoned. So walk forward with your head high. Heaven has ruled in your favor. The sentence has been served. The price has been paid. Now, it's time for divine repayment. Comment right now, I rise with glory. Declare it. Claim it. Mark this moment, because something has shifted, and from this point on, You will never walk the